Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you how to make these Sherbet Circle nails. I've got files, my X-Acto knife, my little scissors, some Seche Vive clear. I've got a hole punch, and I'm using Color Street's Kilowatt, Aspen Sky, Himalayan Salt, Lima Lemons, which you could also use Belgian Buttercup, and Fashion Prauger. All right, so to start with, I'm going to do these colors in different ways, but I'm going to do them different on this hand just because I'm doing random patterns, so I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to start with my Kilowatt. I press it towards the cuticle and fold it over. It gives me about the size I'm working with there. And I do that so that I can decide here with my hole punch where I want to make my cut. So I'm going to do it right here. Flip it over so that it falls in my hand. Save that in case I want to use it later. And then I'm going to cut that where my fold was. Use my X-Acto to peel the back off. Try not to stretch it so that your circle stays as circular as possible. All right, I'm going to start on this side. Stick it down. Ooh, that is all kinds of crooked. Let me try that again. See, now it's going to stretch. All right, so I'm going to stick that down there. Try again. Third time's a charm, right? Okay, and that's a good spot. I'm going to press up the middle, and then I've got my little cuticle pusher. I'm going to come in here, start at the bottom, push down as I go around. Go up the side. Make sure that's all laying flat because we all know these solids are the hardest ones to get to look right. When I get to this last edge, I'm going to kind of pull just to make sure I don't have any bumps in there. I don't want any bumps. Okay, I'm going to use my X-Acto knife. I don't recommend people do this, but I'm going to cut it like that for my edge. And I'll come clean up the rest of that later. But for now, I'm going to bend that over. And that is going to give me my base. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit all my nails here. I'm going to do yellow next. Bend it over. Kind of decide where I want my circle to be on this one. I think I'm going to do it towards the bottom. Like so. And I'm going to cut that. And people ask why I cut these and don't use the whole thing, but I'm going to save that. Maybe at some other time I'll need it. Maybe I'll need to punch my circle out of it in a little bit. You just never know. You may need it. So I'm going to save it. Oh, wrong hand. Okay. That's what I'm going to do here. Make sure I'm on the edge. There we go. Press up the middle. And use your cuticle pusher around the sides. When you get to the edge, pull just to make sure you get all the bumps out. Press down and around like so. We'll get that later with the fingernail file. Really want to get it pushed down in there. I hate having any bumps. All right, so next I'm gonna do purple, my Fashion Prauger. Same thing. Measure it. And I think I'm gonna do circle kind of to the side this time. Save that piece. And I'm gonna cut. I always say this is the hardest part, getting that off of the backing. Okay. Press that the bottom, up the center, and then my cuticle pusher, I'm gonna press down the bottom, work my way up, and stretch the edge. Okay. Okay, next I'm gonna do pink. Now, I know this is a thumb one, but I'm trying to use up extras that I already had open, and this happens to be one of the last ones of my Himalayan Salt, so I'm gonna use it. Okay, so let's do, I think up here. Try to spread it out so that it doesn't look uniform. I don't want a real uniform looking mani on this. I do, but I don't, you know what I mean? I want it to look haphazard, but I want it done neatly enough that it looks good. All right. I love Himalayan Salt. I wear it so much. It's one of my favorites. That and Blushing and Flushing. I am a pink girl. Now I'm gonna line this up so that the circle is on here. Since it's a big nail, I'm gonna make sure that the part of my circle is showing that I want, so that the extra that I cut off is going to be not where my circle is. Okay, press up the middle. See, I have my circle showing. I didn't want to start on this end and then have just a little bit of circle. That's what I mean, if that was confusing. Press down the edge and then stretch that last piece so you don't have any bumps. And again, that up. I can't grab it. There we go. Okay. Make sure that's sticking down on the edges there. Just fold that around for now. All right, so my last one's gonna be blue. Now I have a thicker nail, so I like to use the bottom half. So I'm going to cut this. I know that there is the cut there so that you can rip it, but inevitably it seems when I do that, I get a rough edge, and I don't like rough edges, so. Okay, so this time I think I'm gonna do it towards the bottom over here. Like that. Okay. Now I'm going to cut that, and we will stick this down. Okay, so then I've got extra pieces here. If I can use them, I will use them to fill in these spaces. So that's where we are, and I apologize. Don't know what happened to my video before. So I've got green and yellow left. I think I'm gonna do my green here. And this looks like a big enough circle that I cut. It's left over from here. So I'm just using one on the one nail strip. Make the most out of it that you can. I'm gonna line it up as close as I can. Perhaps overlap a little bit. I don't really like the bump that shows when you overlap. Pardon my bug zapper, we're having a fly issue in our neighborhood. Okay, so got that. I'm gonna use my cuticle pusher. It does a really great job of getting that as flat as possible. I use my X-Acto on the sides. I don't recommend it. Just want to be very honest about how I do it. But you will cut yourself. It's going to happen. Know that. That is my disclaimer. Okay. Now you'll notice sometimes when you put one of these nails on top of the other, you get that crease where it shows an overlap, which I hate, but I'm going to show you how to cover that up in just a little bit. Okay, so left I have yellow. It looks like it's big enough and I won't have to cut another one. I save pieces that I cut off in case I do need to cut another one, if it's not the right size or if it folds up on me or something like that. So I'm gonna come in here, lay that as close to the edge as I can and press. Cuticle pusher. All right. So now trim that up. Ta-da. I've got my pieces hanging off the edges, so let me file those. Make it nice and neat. I always go up and down, don't go back and forth, because you don't want to get any of the nail residue under your color streak, because then it's going to peel up. So up and down when you do that. Get the thumb. Okay. So now, this is my trick. I'm going to use this Seche Vive in the blue bottle. It is super quick drying. I'm going to put a layer on here. I know we use Color Streak because we don't want wet polish, but I also don't want that bump, that overlapping bump. So I'm going to put this on to give myself something in it. A smooth surface to do the next part so that I don't have that overlap. If that makes sense. If not, hopefully it will when I show you the next step. Da, 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 da. That's my music. All right, so we're doing that. One coat. If you put it on thick, you only need one coat. If it's not as thick, you're going to need two. So now what I'm going to do, make sure those are dry. I'm going to come in and put that extra line in the middle. And I put the clear coat so that I don't get that bump that shows the overlapping, because I don't like it. Just me. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. This is my leftover of the purple, my Fashion Prauger. I'm gonna cut, I think I'm gonna cut that, okay. Now, I want it kind of thin on one side and thick on the other side. So I'm gonna come in here, get very close on one edge, kind of stamp it down, and then do it like that so that I've got a thin to a thick. Then I'm going to set that so that it covers up any space that I have in between or any overlapping indentions, because I don't like that either. Don't like the bump. All right, so I'm gonna set that in there, make it nice and smooth, like that. So we're gonna do that on each nail. Fold that under. Give it a little bit of time to dry. All right, let's do, I'm thinking blue on this one. So again, you want thin and then thick. So I'm gonna cut it so it's thick on one side, goes thin on the other. I do better when I lay this down with my hand. I guess I feel like I have a little more control. So I do that. Stick it down and then make sure as it goes down that it's going where I want it to go. Oh no, is it not long enough? Maybe. There we go. Okay, so now let's do yellow on this one. I hope this is gonna be big enough. There. Go. Thin to thick, thin to thick. Oh, I don't have a lot of space on this one. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to cut this one again because I don't think it's going to be long enough. But I'm gonna try so that I don't have to waste a nail. This is a super long one, so let's see. Oh, I think it's gonna fit, yeah. Okay, there. I got it. Okay, so I still need to use green and pink, so I'm gonna use green on this one. Again, I'm using leftovers. Don't want to waste. Might need those colors and those strips for other fabulous nails I'm going to do at a later date. Okay, so I want... I don't know if you can see that, but when you turn it upside down, you can kind of see what you're getting there. So I'm going to clip that. All right. I like the thinner part to be towards the bottom of the nail and then the thicker part to go up towards the end of the nail. It's more aesthetically pleasing to me, but you do yours however you want. All right. This one is wanting to do its own thing. No, I have control. I like to think I have control. Stick that there, okay. Press that, but see, we put that clear coat down so that goes on nice and smooth and you don't get that bumpity bump 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 that we don't want. All right, so last but not least, I got pink on my thumb here. And cut the first punch. And then we're going to do this one. Then too thick. Okay. On my finger. Press that there. Make sure I'm getting everything covered. Press it down. Down and around. There we go. Make sure it's laying flat. I want it flat. All right, we're gonna get the excess off here. And there you go. You've got your sherbet circles all ready to go, looking beautiful. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.